All right, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Finally had the time to sit here and give you a thorough review of the fight. But before I get started, just want to say Happy Memorial Day. I hope all of you enjoy your weekend. With your families. The weather's pretty shitty here in New York, but enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. I've been going to barbecues. And salute to everyone that's in the armed forces. We appreciate y'all. Ladies too. My father was in the army, and we appreciate y'all, and be safe out there. All right. Now, the fight. There's a lot of things I want to speak on. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos. I only made one quick review of the fight right after the fight. But I haven't had time to actually sit down here and talk to you guys. But at least I've had time to read the comments. I do read all of my comments, okay? Even though I don't respond to all of them, I have been reading them, okay? And I've also listened to some of the other uploaders, okay? So I have an idea of what people are saying about this fight, all right? I know about Kell Brook and his fractured eye. Okay, now his left eye is fractured. The right one was fractured by Golovkin. I do know all about that. I did watch the post-fight interviews with Brook and Spence, okay? So I'm fully aware of what's going on, all right? So I'm going to speak on all of that. Let's talk about the fight first, okay? My scorecard, I'm not going to give you the numbers, but I remember what rounds I picked, all right? I gave the first one to Spence. I thought that it was a feeling out round around that. Could have been an even round, It's not a big deal. Both guys were really feinting a lot, really not being aggressive. Neither one. Both of them was just trying to figure each other, trying to measure each other out, trying to counter and punch over each other's jabs. Really wasn't really nothing going on. And majority of the first half of this fight was in the center of the ring. Spence didn't have to chase after Kell Brook in this fight. And not until Kell Brook was really in trouble in the later rounds, okay? The majority of this fight, Spence and Kell Brook were right in front of each other, okay? But first round I gave to Spence. Second, third, and fourth rounds I gave to Kell Brook. Some of those were, maybe one or two of those, you could have gone either way, in my opinion. Fifth round was the hardest round for me to score. I kind of gave it a draw, so I'm going to stick with that. Because the first time I saw it, I thought it was a draw. I thought Kell was winning the majority of the round, but I thought Spence finished strong. And I think he landed like a 5-punch combination, all right? So I think that round was the hardest to score because of that. After that, I pretty much gave Spence every round. I thought some of those rounds could have gone either way, 7th, 8th, 9th round maybe. I did give the 6th to Spence, and I thought the rest of the rounds were Spence because of his aggression, all right? I want to say that Kell Brook's body language really changed in the 6th round, okay? The snap on his punches just wasn't the same. He was still doing well, okay? And it was still very competitive. He was winning some of those rounds. And that's the thing about this fight. Most of these rounds before the 11th and 10th and 11th rounds, they were going back and forth. A lot of the rounds, Kell Brook was winning half of it, and then Spence was winning the other half, okay? Neither one of them I felt, was doing enough on their back foot to win. I think when Kell was coming forward, he was winning. I thought when Spence was coming forward, he was winning. But I will say this. I don't want to give any excuses for why Kell Brook lost this fight, okay? We all know I picked Kell Brook to win this fight by decision, okay? I thought Kell Brook and his experience, his durability, all right? I thought all of that, his hand speed, all right? I thought he was going to win this fight. And I was confident in that, all right? But I was very shocked at Errol Spence's durability, okay? He took punches, clean shots from Kell Brook, and he took them well, all right? Never seemed hurt in this fight at any point, okay? His conditioning. We all knew that Errol Spence had great conditioning. We've seen him fight late, not slowing down at all. But I thought this time stepping up, finding a tougher fighter, a guy that hits harder, okay, a guy that was going to hold him and lean on him, which Kell Brook did a lot of in this fight. I thought that would slow Errol Spence down, and it didn't, okay? Well-conditioned fighter, all right? I was very shocked with Errol Spence's hand speed as well, okay? His hand speed matched Kell Brook. I thought Kell Brook was going to be the faster fighter, okay? Because I would go back and forth. I would watch Kell Brook fights and go right into his Errol Spence fight to try to see and compare the two of them, okay? Watching one after another. I was very impressed with Errol Spence's hand speed. Another thing, I was very impressed with Errol Spence fighting on his back foot. He seemed very comfortable. His jab was on point. All right, I thought he was landing the better jabs in this fight throughout the fight. Even the rounds that I gave to Kell Brook, I thought Errol Spence was landing the better jab. Maybe it's because he's used to fighting righties or whatever. Whatever reason you want to give. I thought Errol Spence was just more consistent to me, okay, throughout the fight. I think Kell Brook, regardless of what people say, him coming off of this loss, coming back down in weight, I don't think that played any factor in this fight. I think Kell Brook can still fight at 147, okay? I thought before this fight that Kell Brook was the best welterweight, you know, and I thought it was between him and Errol going into this fight. And I still think Kell Brook, obviously he has a fractured eye in both eyes. Both eyes has been fractured, 2 fights back to back. I still believe that Kell Brook can fight at 147 if he chooses to. I've heard him say in an interview that he could still fight at 147. And I heard him say that he might possibly go up to 154. And he said this in the past. Okay, but if he were to fight again at 147, I'm not even making that excuse. I'm giving Errol Spence full credit for beating Kell Brook in this fight. Okay, he did well boxing. All right, he did well coming forward and being aggressive. You know, he did well fighting on his back foot, still landing power shots, still landing good body shots too. All right, wasn't as easy. Okay, it wasn't easy, but you got to give the kid his full credit. He's young, and for him to beat an elite fighter that way, dropping him and then stopping him was very, very impressive. And you got to give the kid full credit for that. You can't give Triple G credit. I know Triple G might have softened them up. If you want to say he did, that's cool. But going into this fight, I said, and I believe it, and I still believe it, I think Kell Brook is going to go into this fight just fine. And when I watch Kell Brook, and I've seen him more than enough, I watched him more than a lot of other people on here. I thought Kell Brook was fine. I can say the first few rounds, I thought Kell Brook was fighting like Kell Brook. You know, I mean, obviously, I think he's better fighting other righties because his 1-2 is the best. And I think that's his better weapon. I think he's better at landing those than shooting the straight right and fighting southpaws. He's good at fighting southpaws. He's knocked them, just about all of them out. But he is better fighting other righties. But he's still great at fighting southpaws. And there's no excuse. Let me just put that out there. All right? For the people that are saying this and that. You got to give Errol Spence his credit. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I know I picked against him in this fight. But you can't do that to Errol. And you can't even do that to Kell Brook. Because Kell Brook is still an elite welterweight. I still think he can beat Kell. I still think I would still choose him to beat Keith Thurman. I would still pick him to beat Danny Garcia. All right? He already beat Sean Porter. All right? I just believe that. You know? And until I feel like he slowed down. I don't think he slowed down in this fight. I just think he fought a better fighter. He slowed down. See, the thing is, a lot of people, and let me just say this. A lot of people will pick and say certain things, and they might have only seen 1 or 2 fights of this guy. And I really believe that a lot of people didn't really watch Kell Brook or Errol Spence like that. You know? A lot of people just made their picks based on Errol Spence being the favorite to win this fight. You know? Or them being a fan. I didn't do that. Okay, I actually took the time to watch them both because I knew that this was a tough fight and it was a tough fight to call. I've heard people, all right? I've read comments. I read my own comments, all right? On all the videos that I made on this. There were people that was out there picking Errol Spence to win in 5 and 6 rounds, okay? Like, I think Errol Spence is going to destroy Kell Brook. Those people, they've never seen Kell Brook fight. You know, people like that, you can't listen to them. You know, they don't know what they're talking about, you know? And this is why I'm giving Spence so much credit, because I did hold Kell Brook at a high standard. And I held Errol Spence up there too. It's just that from what I've seen from Errol Spence leading up to this fight, as great as he looks, I thought Kell Brook had the tools to beat him. And you know what? And at some points in this fight, I was like, Kell Brook is winning this fight. But, and if you follow me for tweeting, because I was live tweeting it, I said, at some point I was like, all right, after the 4th, I think it was the 5th round, I said, Kell Brook is slowing down. I don't know if he can maintain this. You know, he's winning. He's looking good. But if he can't maintain this, Errol Spence is going to come back. And he did. You know? But you gotta, and you know, you gotta, you know, for the people that want to make it seem like they're experts now for getting this pick right. I mean, listen, if you need to say all of this to make you feel better about it, then that's cool. You know, I mean, it's whatever. I don't really need to do that. I've been on this channel for 4 years now. All right, you're not gonna get all the picks right. There's plenty of fights that the guy that we all thought was gonna lose, I picked to win the fight, and he did. You're not going to get them all right. It is what it is. I've gotten 2 or 3 predictions wrong in a row, and I've gotten 5 and 10 of them right in a row. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be like that. Not really worried about that, right? But you have to give Errol Spence his credit. You know, I thought Kell Brook was at his best, and he lost at his best. And that's it. All right, now, let's speak on the future of these fighters. Errol Spence, he wants Keith Thurman, he wants Manny Pacquiao. Seriously doubt Manny Pacquiao would fight him. You know, Manny Pacquiao's not going to fight him. I seriously doubt that, okay? Not at this stage in his career. I just don't see him doing it. You know, I see Pacquiao probably trying to get a Amir Khan fight after he whoops Jeff Horn. You know, that's just what I feel. You know, he's on that top ring side. And I just don't see him fighting Errol Spence. You know, I just don't see it. If he does it, then salute to him. But I'm not going to give him credit if he were to fight him. He's supposed to fight him. These guys, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, whoever he decides to fight, he's supposed to fight them. All right? You know, if he fights Keith Thurman instead of Errol Spence, that's cool too. You know, Keith Thurman has 2 belts. All right? Keith Thurman is still the most decorated. As far as resume on paper, he's still the most decorated welter under Manny Pacquiao right now, currently. Okay, as far as like recently. All right. So if he goes after Thurman, you know, whatever. But I don't know. But I seriously, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be Amir Khan. I think so. You know. But Errol Spence wants to fight Keith Thurman. He really wants that. And I think that's the easiest fight to make. I made my video on becoming undisputed and saying that it's impossible. Errol Spence is sticking to what he said from day one. All right. His thing is he's going to fight Kell Brook, beat him, go up, fight Keith Thurman. Okay. Beat him. And then fight Manny Pacquiao, beat him, and then go up to 154. All right. He wants to become undisputed. And he wants to go up in weight. There's nothing changed in his tune. And that's why I respect Errol Spence. Let me tell you why I respect him. Because he was confident going into this fight. Right? His emotions has not changed. Even when he won, he was still very relaxed. Like, he knew it wasn't like shocking to him. He knew what he was going to go in there and do. He went and did it. It was hard. It was tough. It was not easy. And that was it. Okay? He did his interviews and said, listen, I'm fighting Keith Thurman. I don't want to do no talking. I don't want to do nothing. I want Keith Thurman next. And he knows that. Listen, I like him because he's acknowledging everything that's going on. He said, listen, I know he has to have surgery. I know he's injured. All right. In that time, I'll get a tune-up fight, or I'll do whatever I have to do in between that time. But I want Keith Thurman next. He even acknowledged that he has an injury. All right. So I thought that was cool, because I hate when people give interviews and they act like their interviews is so, like, pre-written. You know, it's like they know what they're gonna say, and they know they're gonna give us the same typical. You know, I'm gonna talk to my advisor. You know, I'm gonna talk to Al. He didn't say that. He said, I want Keith Thurman next. I want Manny Pacquiao, undisputed, move up to 154. That's it. Kept it real short and sweet. I like that. Okay. He had the same attitude going into the fight. He had the same attitude after winning the fight. I respect it. Okay. So the options already out there laid. I think you check with the IBF. I didn't look at the rankings right now. If he has a mandatory, or he has a mandatory coming up, if he wants to get that out of the way to give Thurman some time, or if he can't get the Pacquiao fight, because Pacquiao's obviously fighting Jeff Horn. If he can't get that out of the way, get whatever title, because we know how I made a video about becoming undisputed. All right, I think it's impossible. I think it's damn near impossible. Do whatever you got to do to be cool on their end, for they don't come behind you and try to snatch a belt away. We have the Indongo and Terrence Crawford issue, which I'll speak about in another video. We already have that issue going on. Do whatever you have to do while you're holding that one belt, just to make them shut up for down the line. You know, whatever you got to do, get that out of the way, because you know you want to become undisputed. All right. So do what you have to do with the IBF until you get that fight to unify, whether it's Keith Thurman or Manny Pacquiao. Okay. So that's how I feel with Errol Spence Jr. As far as fighting Keith Thurman, I still believe that Keith, you know, I mean, listen, I said before this fight, Keith Thurman is my dude. All right. People think that Kell Brook was my dude. Keith Thurman is my dude. All right. If Keith Thurman fights anyone at welterweight, I'm picking Keith Thurman to win. As far as I want him to win as a fan. I am a fan of him. I like Kell Brook. I like Errol Spence. But Keith Thurman is my dude. Like, let's make that very clear. Do I think Keith stylistically can beat Errol Spence? No. I don't think so. I didn't think it before going into this fight. And I damn sure don't think it right now. You know, the problem I have with Keith, and I'll talk more of it down the line. I'll do a full breakdown if this fight happens. But the problem I have with Keith, and I think it's going to be easier for Spence to beat Keith than it was with Kell Brook, is that Keith doesn't use a jab like that. He leads with power shots all of the time. Okay? And it's great early in the fight when he's extremely explosive. But the problem with Keith, this is my problem with Keith. When he falls back and he can't get the knockout, and he falls back to becoming the boxer, and he's doing a lot more lateral movement, he's not that good compared to a Kell Brook, a guy that's used to fighting on his back foot. He's not as good, okay? When he starts to use his jab, he's not that good. That's the problem I have with Keith Thurman. When Keith Thurman is coming forward, he's great. But a guy like Errol Spence, who has a jab and who can fight on the back foot because he's proven it now, he's going to have trouble against a guy that had a jab. I mean, even Sean Porter was controlling Keith Thurman with a jab a little. You know, Sean Porter. And no one respects his style. But even Sean Porter was making great use of the jab. What do you think is going to happen with Errol Spence fight him? You know, Keith is going to have to bring something else to the table when he fights Errol Spence. He needs more, in my opinion, he needs more than a puncher's chance. He's explosive. But if he gets past 2, 3 rounds, 4 rounds with Errol, all right, and he hasn't knocked him out yet, you got to worry about Errol later, okay? The second problem I have with Keith Thurman is when he goes against the ropes. He sits on the ropes, all right? His back is on the ropes, and he stays there. There was a point in this fight where Kell Brook did it that I was like, all right, Kell, you've been on the ropes for too long. You've been, you know, you're on the ropes. But Keith Thurman can spend half a round on the ropes in the same place. Sean Porter did it with him. Even Guerrero was doing it with him later in that fight, if you guys remember that fight. Guerrero in the 10th, 11th, the championship rounds, Guerrero was pressuring Keith, and Keith was doing a lot of movement, a lot of unnecessary movement. Okay, and this is the Keith Thurman that I'm worried about. The Keith Thurman that falls back on strictly boxing. That's the Keith Thurman I'm worried about, because I don't think that Keith Thurman is as polished as a Kell Brook when he has to rely on boxing. It works. It worked against Danny Garcia. It worked barely against Sean Porter, which was a debatable fight. Okay, it barely worked against him. All right, he almost lost that fight. All right, but once you fight Errol Spence, a guy that is big, long, you know, has a great jab and knows how to make good use of it. Keith Thurman always leading with power shot, doing nothing but power shots. A boxer is going to be able to control you, okay? Not trying to compare Lemieux to Keith Thurman. Not trying to, as far as skills, not trying to compare them, but as far as that fight is concerned, what Triple G did to Lemieux, that's exactly how you control a big, wild puncher that is always leading with power shots. All right? Keith is obviously better. He's more skilled than Lemieux. All right? I'm not trying to go there, but I'm just giving you an example of how you control and neutralize a big puncher while being a big puncher yourself. You feel me? So anyway, that's how I feel right now about that fight. All right, so let's speak on Kell Brook's future. Okay. He needs to recover that eye. All right. He needs to recover that, you know. Take his time off, do what he has to do. He's had it rough. I think it's fair for him to have a tune-up fight. You know, maybe a couple. I'm cool with that. I respect that. He doesn't need to go right back into it. All right. I see that Amir Khan called him out, which is, I'm not surprised, because that's what Amir Khan does. Amir Khan. I don't like Amir Khan. Okay, I like him as far as his fighting. I think he's very skilled, and I think he does have a lot of heart. You know, even though he has the bad chin and everything, he has a lot of heart. Okay, you either knock him out or he's gonna try to keep getting up and fighting. We've seen both. We've seen him get knocked cleaned out, and we've seen him get stopped, keep getting up and trying to continue the fight. All right, Khan has heart, but him outside of the ring, not a fan of him. Okay. Because he waits on opportunities like this to jump on it. You know, Kell been trying to fight him for years. And now you see the guy lose, and you don't even call out Errol. You call out the loser. You know what I'm saying? The guy that just fractured his second eye. Now you want to fight him. You know? But, yo, I like the UK. I like what they're doing. You know, for him, for Spence, and for Kell Brook, to fill up an arena and have 30,000 viewers. That's dope. That's dope, man. I wish we can do that outside of, you know, the few main top fighters that we have here. I wish American boxing fans were heavy on it like that, you know? But, yo, that's dope. And I think Spence, wait, who am I talking about? I think Kell Brook needs to continue his career, and I think he should stay at 147. I don't think he needs to make up 154. I mean, unless he really feels drained, I don't think he had any trouble making 147. You know, I think he needs to heal and recover. If he can, get back in there by the fall or by the end of the year. All right, have a couple of tune-up fights, get motivated, get back into it, you know, and come back and go for another championship. You know, go again, have a rematch, you know? It's not like Spence KO'd him. Okay, the dude had a fractured eye, and let me speak on that, because I've been seeing people say, oh, the man quit, he's a quitter. For the people that's bashing Kell Brook, did you not see the 10th round? Did you just like skip that round and go straight? Did you fast forward the fight and go straight to the 11th round? You had to. Like, did you not see this guy continue to fight and trade with a guy while having a fractured eye? His eye was fractured for a few rounds. He was fractured in the first round against Triple G, and Triple G still didn't knock him out. They threw the towel in. You know, and then for Spence to be beating him up and continuously, he fought back in the 10th round, went back at Spence, hit him with like big shots while gassed and had a fractured eye. Went into the 11th round, okay? And was getting, Spence was hitting nothing but the eye. You know? I've seen much worse quits. Yes, he stopped. Yes, he went down, he kneeled. The dude said he couldn't see out of the eye. It is what it is. He gave us a fantastic fight. Both of them did. It was a fantastic fight. You can't diss that guy. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't diss either one of you. And for the people that's dissing Spence still, like, you can't do that, man. Come on, man. Y'all gotta chill, man. You gotta chill. It's not that serious. It's just a prediction. It's just a pick. We move on to the next fight. It is what it is. The uploaders, some of y'all are going crazy. And the people that's leaving comments, some of y'all want to make it like y'all some experts because you got it right. All right? Spence is the favorite to win this fight. Okay? He was. Just remember that. All right? I picked the guy that was not the favorite. And you know what? He lost. But you know what? He gave a good fight. And I gave you a great reason on why I thought Kell Brook would win. You know? And Spence said it himself. He thought after the fight, watch his interviews. He said, I believe at 147, I thought me and Kell Brook were the most skilled at 147. And I agreed with him. And I said that leading up to this fight. I thought those two were the most skilled. And this is why I picked Brook, because Brook was the more experienced of the two. And I thought Brook had the best chance of beating Spence. I've said that from day one, and I said it all the way up into this fight. All right? Kell Brook, just relax, come back strong, get healed and come back strong. If he wants to move up to 154, cool. But I'm very fine with him. There's people I still want to see. I still want to see him fight Keith Thurman. I still want to see Kell Brook fight Tim Bradley. Wherever he is, I want to see that fight. I still want to see that fight. Make it now. Make Amir Khan fight. I still want to see that fight. Don't get it twisted. I don't like that Amir Khan is just now calling him out. But I still want to see the fight. I want to see it. Don't get it twisted. It's just that the timing. You want to wait till the man is down and lost 2 fights in a row before you come out of nowhere and ask for the fight. Okay? I think Khan needs to tune up. Would make that fight good. Khan needs to tune up. He needs a return fight. He hasn't fought since he got knocked out last year. Okay? He needs to tune up. And Kell Brook needs to tune up. All right? Kell Brook needs to recover, have a tune-up. You guys fight 2018. 2018 is fair. Let's make that fight. But Khan needs to get himself back together. There's plenty of people there at welterweight to fight. There's a lot of people that need to get it together. Berto needs to get it together. He had a tough fight with Sean. He needs to get it together. There's plenty of fights to still be made at 147. All right? So I think Kell doesn't have to go up to 154. All right? 154, he gives away the size advantage that he has. He's very skillful, but you're giving the size advantage away. You won't have that anymore. Not saying he won't be successful up there at 154, but it'll be much harder, all right? And if you could make weight, you're big at 147, but you're not big at 154. Kell Brook is not big at 154. He's a small guy at 154, or he's an average size guy at 154, because most of those guys at 154 can easily fight at 160. Kell Brook, not really. All right, he's small at 160, and he's regular at 154, and he's big at 147, and so is Errol Spence. All right, but you're giving that size advantage away. You're skillful, but you're giving it away. If he wants to go up, that's cool. There's guys in the UK. You got Liam Smith. I know they were talking a little bit about fighting, but there's plenty of options out there for the both of them. All right, so that's how I feel about their future. I'm trying to think of anybody else that I want to, or anything else I want to speak on in this video. Listen, it was a great fight. It was a classic. It was more entertaining, a lot more drama than the Thurman Garcia fight, which was expected. That's why I said that this was my favorite fight so far of the year. The most important fight to me, because now we get to see 2 guys that I highly rated in the division. We finally got to see how good they really were. The best came out of both fighters, and I learned more about Spence, and that's what I wanted. That's what I'm wanting, and I'm happy. All right. No love lost. Picked the wrong one on this one. It's all good. We move on to the next. All right. So anyway, I think that's all that I wanted to speak on. And that's it. You know, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna speak on the Terrence Crawford thing and some of the other fights. I still got to do the Andre Ward Kovalev stuff, right? And it's just been so much going on. Hard to really discuss it with all these other videos and stuff. And there's videos that were requested that I still haven't made, that I haven't touched on yet. All right. So anyway, I'm out. Leave your comments and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.